Hi, it's Jess. I'm here today with a relationship reality series where I talk about kind of real people's problems, people who are writing in, they have questions about experiences that are happening in their relationships, solutions that they're wanting to know more about, or maybe even areas that they're kind of getting stuck in. And so today and for this week, I'm responding to a woman's question. She wrote in asking about, she said, Jess, why are my date nights either falling flat or non-existent? So not happening at all. And so this is a really good question, and it's something that so many people experience all the time. I know for me, I hear a lot of people talk about date nights. Like date nights are the sort of thing that I think a lot of couples come up with when the relationship is getting kind of stagnant or boring, and they're just kind of going through the motions and experiencing like the day in day out sort of experiences of life, and so they're kind of like, hey, what about us? What about our relationship? We need to work on us. We need to actually spend some time together. It's amazing how many couples don't really spend a lot of time together, where they would call it like quality time. So time when they're actually focused on themselves, they're focused on their relationship. So they might be together doing stuff for the kids or doing errands for the house or that kind of stuff, but not necessarily feeling like it's quality time. And by that, I think that what people mean is like where they're actually kind of connecting in some sort of way, where it's some sort of like relationship experience. And so date night comes up, and as an idea to let's make sure we make time for one another. Let's make sure we make time to spend time. And to be honest, more often than not, this does not work. In my experience, date night is one of those things that it sounds awesome, but in the reality comes around to it just either not happening or the actual dates themselves fall flat. And falling flat is what I hear. Some feedback about falling flat is where it's kind of boring, or it's like we're doing something, but we're not actually connecting while we're doing it. And the reason why date night doesn't work in a lot of ways is because of the word date. And it's amazing to really think about it this way. But when we think about date, it's like a stereotypical kind of idea we're going to go out for dinner, right? We're going to, we're going to do dinner, we're going to do movies. Like it's actually usually kind of restricted to a couple different activities. And now we're labeling this as a date. And so, if a couple gets to the point of actually doing that, they go out and now they're sitting out for dinner. And then what? What do we talk about? What are we going to do? Our lives are kind of boring anyway. There's not much new happening. We see each other all the time. We know everything about everything. So what are we going to do during this dinner besides just eat and then go home and maybe watch TV? And that's the date night. And so the word date really gets in the way. And I would really almost encourage even just like to remove it out of there. And instead, what we want to replace it with is, what sort of experience are we looking for? And so, are we looking just to go have some good food? Because that's what date night, going out for dinner, looks like. Or are we looking to experience something kind of fun? Are we looking for some sort of adventure? Are we looking for something sexy? Are we looking for something romantic? Like what kind of energy, what kind of experience are we looking for? So we really want to just start with those sorts of feelings and sensations. And then the activity can come from that. Does dinner actually fall in line with fun and exciting? Probably not. Does a movie? Well, we're kind of looking at the screen, but we're not. Are we interacting? Depends. So, we can do those things. We can do dinner, we can do movie, but what are we doing in this moment? What are we doing with that time together? And the second part, which that connects to, is how do we want to connect? So when we spend time together, we want to have a sense of how we're looking to connect. What sorts of, the word intimacy comes in, like what sorts of intimacy, what sorts of sharing, how do we want to maybe even get to know each other a little bit more during this time? Do we want it to be something more of a sexual experience? Do we want it to be something more of a connecting, of a kind of conversation, right? We can talk to each other. We can talk about the weather. We can talk about our next vacation. But is there a specific sort of conversation that we might want to have that helps us to tune into each other? And that's really the idea and the meaning behind date night. But unfortunately, it usually loses its fizzle, and it gets in the way just calling it date night. So let's call it something different. How about, we even think about, and I might even post something a little bit later, like we're going to want to call this something different, but this is going to be not date night anymore. Okay, because it just doesn't seem to work. It either doesn't happen, as this woman's wondering about, or it just falls flat and it's kind of boring anyway, anticlimactic, and it's not giving the kind of effect that we're looking for. And so that's it for today. Hi, Christine. And, just really kind of explore for yourself what you want, and even talk with your partner about this. Okay, we want to kind of connect. We kind of want to share time together. But what's the experience we're looking for, and how do we actually want to have that connection to happen? The activities will follow. You'll come up with some ideas, and that will be a lot more interesting and a lot more exciting, and bring a lot more of the spark back into your relationship. So definitely keep writing in more questions. I'm loving the questions that are coming in, and every week I'm going to be responding to at least one of them. So have a wonderful rest of your day.